Welcome back to Bombastic Nation and Ting and Ting and Ting. I'm Mr. Giant and I'm back with some more vibes for all you. And we continuing with the scary urban legends, man. This one is called Top 10 Scary Mexican urban legends. You understand what I mean? This is one of them extra vibe again. And in this country, Halloween is coming up. I don't know if they celebrate Halloween in y'all's country. I know they didn't in my country. We celebrated All Saints Night around the same time. All Saints Night, I don't know how it's celebrated elsewhere, but on the island, we went to the cemetery and we lit candles on the graves of dead relatives. We always went to my grandfather's grave, and there's a I don't know if you could call it a candy, but it's called asham. And what you do is you roast corn. We say we patch it, but you roast it, and then you ground it up, and you add nutmeg and cinnamon and brown sugar, and you eat it like that. Oh my god! As a kid, as a kid, man, that was fun. That was good eating. But there were also kids that would go through the graveyard and replace the asham with sand. So you think you're getting a taste of asham is sand. Oh, those kids were mean. But anyway, let's get into this here. Go ahead and hit the notification button so you know when these are coming up, these extra videos and stuff. When videos are coming up in general. Thank you all for the comments. I really appreciate it. Keep commenting and suggesting videos that I could watch. Okay, let's go ahead on YouTube and simmer and see what go on here.
Hello guys, today we continue our quest to discover scary tales from all over the world. In this video we'll be visiting a land steeped in myths and legends. Some of them are modern, some of them are ancient, but all of them are feared by the people who know them. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary Mexican urban legends. Starting out with number 10 now, we have White Death. The White Death is said to be a vengeful spirit in Mexico who hunts down anyone who knows about her existence. If this ends up being true, I'm sorry to drag all of you guys into it. She's said to be an undead girl with cold black eyes that weep blood. She glides but never walks and stalks her victims like wild animals, chasing them back to their homes. Then she waits until night and knocks at your door. One knock means she wants your skin, 2 for your hair, 3 for your bones, 4 for your heart, 5 for your teeth, 6 for your eyes, and 7 for your soul, which she will swallow whole. At number 9 now, we have Luchuza. According to legend, she was a witch who used magic to turn herself into a giant white owl. It's said that she sold her soul to the devil to become more powerful. Sometimes she appears as an owl the size of a human being, with the head of an owl and the body of an elderly woman. She is said to wait outside the house of her victims, crying out into the night until they step outside. Moving on to number 8 now, we have the Phantom of the Park. In the small city of Yarel del Progreso lies a park called the Benito Juarez Park. It's built on the remains of an old, forgotten cemetery. The locals say this disturbed the spirits of the dead there and unleashed a deadly curse. Every night the benches were vandalized and nobody knew who was causing the damage. The city hired a security guard to patrol the grounds. One night, around midnight, a dense fog emerged and crept out over the park. The guard heard the cries of a woman, and then he saw her, a shadowy figure lurking near the park benches. It looked like an old woman in a long white dress. When he got
Why is we look at the Japanese urban legend? All women, all women, and now we're looking at the Mexican urban legends, and it's all women again. No, the urban legends, they say, it's a cultural thing to scare people into doing certain things or not doing certain things. So what is it? How come they're using the woman as a symbol to scare people into not doing things? Because there's a theme going on here. I might have to look into that because that's relatively odd. Because in on Grenada, there's male and female ones, and maybe the ones they're choosing are the female ones. But there's male and female. Like the Lugaru, they have the female counterpart, the Sukunya, but you hear more about the Lugaru than the Sukunya. You know what I mean? Man, It's all the women.
Closer, he saw she had no legs and was floating above the ground. Then she attacked him. He managed to escape and told his boss the very next morning. A few days later, he died of a mysterious illness. Locals have accepted the phantom of the park now, and they know a mysterious illness will fall upon anyone who sees her at midnight. Next up at number 7 now, we have La Malinche. This story dates back to 1522, when the noble Aztec woman La Malinche had 2 sons with the Spanish conquistador Cortez. He told her he was going to return back to Spain with his sons. She had a dream where one of her gods appeared and said, if you let him take your children, one of them will return and destroy your people. The night before Cortez departed, La Malinche escaped with the boys. Cortez's soldiers chased them to the lake on which Mexico City now lies. Just before the soldiers captured them, she stabbed the boys in their hearts with a dagger and dropped their bodies into the water. She screamed out into the night, saying, "Oh, my children." In the century since then, many Mexican families have reported seeing her ghost wandering the streets at night, grieving the loss of her children. The families lock up their kids for fear of her doing the same thing to them. Next up, number 6 now, we have La Planchada. In the 1930s, a nurse known as La Planchada worked at Hospital Juarez. Her name roughly translates to the Iron Lady. She fell for a doctor, but he left her for another nurse. La Planchada was distraught.
The scorned woman.
Depression. She deteriorated and
That's
eventually
warning
succumbed
men.
to an illness
Don't you
which
do that to
killed
another
her.
woman.
Legend says that she returned to the land of the living with a hatred for all nurses. Ever since then, she walks the corridors of hospitals at night, caring for patients while they sleep, but ready to release all of her anguish if she comes across another nurse. At number 5 now, we have the Red Car. This legend tells of a group of witches who travel the roads looking for men at night. They're also known as the Carriage of the Witches. The Red Car travels between Mexico City and Cuernavaca. The passengers are 3 witches disguised as beautiful women. When they see a man alone by the side of the road, they pull over and try to get him inside. If the man accepts, he is usually found sometime later, lying lifeless by the side of the road, battered, bruised, and with strange arcane symbols all over his body. It's thought they're sacrificed to the devil as part of an occult ritual, and the car is red only because of the blood of the victims. Moving on to number 4 now, we have the Tube House. This is an abandoned mansion in Monterrey, Mexico. It was built in the 1970s by a family of 3 who wanted to make a comfortable place to live for their daughter who was in a wheelchair. When the parents brought their daughter to see the home for the first time, the little girl fell off one of the ramps and went straight through a window, falling to her death. The parents were obviously distraught and eventually put the house up for sale. In the years since then, visitors have sworn they have seen the ghost of the little girl. They always see her standing there in the same window she fell to her death from, waving and smiling forever. Next up, number 3 now, we have El Coquet. According to legend, El Coquet is a small, hideous, hairy creature with deep glowing red eyes. He has ears like a bat and a mouthful of teeth as sharp as daggers. El Coquet comes out at night to steal children away. Some say he can take the form of any dark shadow, which he uses to watch children as they sleep. Once the child...
This one is easy to explain. Children do not go out at night. And you have to remember too that back then, more than likely when this was popular, there wasn't any street lights or nothing like that in Mexico. So, to keep the children indoors, the parents said, or what is this guy's name? I can't pronounce it, but he will get you if you go outside at night. Oh, you plan to run away? Where you going to stay at night? He's going to get you.
Is asleep, El Coquet will pounce
El
and
Coquet.
take him away to his lair. Children will hide in their wardrobes or under their beds just to avoid him. He is essentially the Mexican version of the boogeyman, or perhaps the very same person. Alright, moving on to
Finally a man.
Chupacabra. This is a story of a strange beast that blurs the
I
line
heard of
between
this one.
fact and fiction. Some describe it as a vicious, furry, lizard-like creature with bulging red eyes, fanged teeth, and a long, darting tongue. Its name roughly translates to goat sucker because of its tendency to prey on goats and other livestock. The animals it attacks are left with every ounce of blood drained out of them. What kind of creature would do this? Is this something natural or not? And finally, number 1 now, we have the severed hands. In Mexico, some people say there exists the Alley of the Hands. In 1780, a priest set up in the town of Alfalfa in Mexico. He hired 2 local boys to help look after his horses. One night, the boys returned to the house to find the priest had been murdered, lying in a pool of his own blood. They ran to get help. The police couldn't figure out who did it and began to suspect it was was actually the two boys. After intense interrogation, the boys began to blame each other. They were put on trial and found guilty. They were then hung by the neck and their hands were cut off. The hands were then hung on the wall of the alley outside the priest's house as a warning to others. Ever since then, people have been afraid to walk through the alley of the hands. Whatever they do, they make the sign of the cross and pray. Locals say that on a cold, dark night in November, you can even see their skeletal hands floating above you in the alley. Alright guys, that is that. And now I'm going to ask you the very same question I ask in all of our urban legend videos. Which country do you want me to do next? Or perhaps you would like to see me do a part 2 to a country we will...
You know, there is something about a hand. If I'm not mistaken, in Grenadian urban legend, I'm gonna have to ask my brother, because I seem to remember a story, or maybe somebody was just making up one. Probably my dad, to scare me. Because quite frankly, that man had me scared of little people forever. No, it's not because I'm 7 feet tall. It's because my dad told me this scary story that I choose to forget now. But I remember it because I remember I was in the bedroom. He was at the window smoking a cigarette. And I found out that I had some family members that was little people. And he told me this scary story about little people, or a little person. I couldn't sleep, and I was, for a long time, I was scared of little people. I'm not even trying to be funny. This is an absolutely true story, because my dad did stuff like that to me when I was really young. Like what, 4, 5, 6? Tell me scary stories just to see me scared. But anyway, man, thank you all for watching this with me. I complained about it being women mostly, and then it kind of shifted. One became a La Cupacabra, became just a creature, and then the guy that would steal kids at night, Gochi, I can't pronounce it, but you know what I'm talking about. So it kind of deviated from what seemed to be the norm here. It's all women, afterlife, angry. They were jealous during their life and stuff, and they out there killing nurses, or, the little girl that fell out the window. But that seemed to be a friendly one. But this was quite interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed it with me. Y'all take care of each other, all right? Cool runnings.